We thank God for bringing us together to worship Him and to study His Word. We dispense the second hymn because our study this morning is very long. And I hope that we will cover most part of it as we together meditate upon what is written in the Bible and in the spirit of prophecy. I'm going to use much statements from the spirit of prophecy. Although we are few in numbers because many of our members have gone to Melbourne for the dedication of a new church, but we hope that the Lord will bless us and help us to understand the message this morning. A few years ago, quite a few years ago, I was preparing this tract here, That Other Angel. And when I finished preparing it, I was surprised to receive in my hand another tract with the same title, That Other Angel. And I was happy. I said, oh, we don't need to print because we have one already. And this one was published by the Pacific Press of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. So I took this tract and I read it through. And when I came to the end, I decided we will have to publish this because in this tract there is only one place mentioned that other angel. All the rest is about publishing, cooperative work, publishing, and literature. And that only text found on page 10 of this tract says, right on the bottom, and in a large degree, through our publishing houses, is to be accomplished the work of that other angel who comes down from heaven with great power and who lightens the earth with his glory. Even if it is mentioned here, that other angel, it's out of context because it doesn't say that that other angel are the publishing houses. It says that through the publishing houses is to a large degree is to be accomplished the work of that other angel. And I may add to it, and through the Bible Society, which not even Adventist, also will be an aid for the finishing of God's work when they distribute the Bibles. Then I decided we shall publish this tract, That Other Angel. Now, in the Bible, we read, as it was read in the beginning, after these things. Where do we connect Revelation 18, verse 1? If you read the previous chapter, verse 17, you find there the description of Babylon and the doom of Babylon. If you read chapter 16, you find out there the outpouring of the 7 last plagues So this angel will not come after the pouring out of the last plagues. In chapter 15, we see the saved singing on the sea of glass the song of victory. Certainly this angel will not come after that. Must come before. So where do we place Revelation 18 verse 1? If we read chapter 14, we see there from verse 6 to 13, 3 angels' messages. And after verse 13, verse 14, we read about Jesus coming in the cloud. So before the coming of Jesus in the cloud, the angel of Revelation 18 have to come. And therefore, the angel of Revelation 18, that other angel, comes after the third angel. And why this angel has to come? Let's consider a little bit the first angel's message. Revelation chapter 14 and verse 6 and 7. And I saw another angel fly in the midst of heaven, having the everlasting gospel, to preach unto them that dwell on the earth, and to every nation and kindred and tongue and people, saying with a loud voice. I want to emphasize this expression, a loud voice. The first angel proclaims his message in a loud voice. Saying what? Fear God and give glory to Him, for the hour of His judgment is come. And worship Him that made heaven and earth and the sea and the fountains of waters. And verse 8 speaks about another angel. It doesn't say second. It says another. Verse 8 says, and there followed another angel. Well, if we have one and comes another, automatically is the second, right? And what is written here? Saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. The second angel does not proclaim his message in a loud voice. The Bible says it was only saying, not with a loud voice. And we will see why. And verse 9 says, and the third angel followed them. Oh, so we have two, and comes another one. This is named in the Bible, the third one. The third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice. Now the third angel speaks also with a loud voice, but not the second. If any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So we have here three messages. The first and the third are to be proclaimed with a loud voice. The second was proclaimed only saying, not with a loud voice. In Testimonies for the Church, volume 6, page 60, I read this. The third angel's message is to be given with power. The power of the proclamation of the first and second messages is to be intensified in the third. In the Revelation, John says of the heavenly messenger who unites with the third angel, I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. And he cried mightily with a strong voice. Here, the Spirit of prophecy says that that other angel unites with the third angel. And that angel, that other angel of Revelation 18, verse 1, proclaims no new doctrine, no new message, but the threefold messages. However, he proclaims it not only saying, but the expression of spirit of prophecy is, he cried mightily with a strong voice. Well, if there are three persons and another one comes, join those three, is he not the fourth? Surely, he is the fourth person. Now, the Bible and the Spirit of prophecy does not speak about the fourth angel, but speaks about that other angel. However, that other is the fourth. Now, the question which asked before, why did this angel have to come? I want to read a few statements here. Evangelism, page 230. We are, as a people, in danger of giving the third angel's message in such an indefinite manner that it does not impress the people. Our message is a life and death message, and we must let this message appear as it is, the great power of God. The Lord will make it effectual. We are to present it in all its telling force. Satan has devised a state of things whereby the proclamation of the third angel's message shall be bound about. We must beware of his plans and methods. There must be no toning down of the truth, no muffling of the message for this time. The third angel's message must be strengthened and confirmed. The 18th chapter of Revelation reveals the importance of presenting the truth in no measured terms, but with boldness and power. There has been too much beating about the bush in the proclamation of the third angel's message. The message has not been given as clearly as and distinctly as it should have been. This was written in the year 1900. Another statement this is in volume 6, page 60 and 61. We are in danger of giving the third angel's message in so indefinite a manner that it does not impress the people. So many other interests are brought in that the very message which should be proclaimed with power becomes tame and voiceless. At our camp meetings, a mistake has been made. The Sabbath question has not been touched upon, but has been touched upon, but has not been presented as the great test for this time. While the church profess to believe in Christ, they are violating the law which Christ himself proclaimed from Sinai. The Lord bids us, "Show my people their transgression and the house of Jacob their sins." The trumpet is to give a certain sound. When you have a congregation before you for only 2 weeks, do not defer the presentation of the Sabbath question until everything else is presented, supposing that you thus pave the way for it. Lift up the standard, the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. Make this the important theme. Then, by your strong arguments, make it of still greater force. Dwell more on the revelation. Read, explain, and therefore enforce its teaching. The reason for the coming of that other angel is mentioned here, that the message which should be proclaimed with a loud voice became voiceless. Why? One reason is that the Sabbath was not presented as the great test for today. It was mentioned, yes, the Sabbath, but was not presented as a great test. In Review and Herald, March 22, 1887, I read this. What is our condition in this fearful and solemn time? Alas, what pride is prevailing in the church, what hypocrisy, what deception, what love of dress, frivolity, and amusement, what desire for supremacy. All these sins have clouded the mind, so that eternal things have not been discerned. Before the General Conference session of 1888, the Spirit of Prophecy mentioned the condition of the church as in 1887, 1 year before. And it says, these sins have clouded the mind. No wonder that the message brought to the church in 1888 was not accepted. Why? The minds were clouded. They could not understand. It's important. Volume 5 of Testimonies for the Church, page 217. I am filled with sadness when I think of our condition as a people. The Lord has not closed heaven to us, but our own course of continual backsliding has separated us from God. Pride, covetousness, love of the world have lived in the heart without fear of banishment or condemnation. Grievous and presumptuous sins have dwelt among us. And yet, the general opinion is that the church is flourishing and that peace and spiritual prosperity are in all her borders. The spirit of prophecy shows the condition of the church, but the church at the time believed that the church is prospering. I read in continuation, the same page. The church has turned back from following Christ, her leader, and is steadily retreating toward Egypt. Yet few are alarmed or astonished at their want of spiritual power. Doubts and even disbelief of the testimonies of the Spirit of God is leavening our churches everywhere. Satan would have it thus. Ministers who preach self instead of Christ would have it thus. The testimonies are unread and unappreciated. God has spoken to you. Light has been shining from His Word and from the testimonies, and both have been slighted and disregarded. The result is apparent in the lack of purity and devotion and earnest faith among us. The spirit of prophecy says, sadly, that the condition of the church was retreating to Egypt instead of following Christ. We will come back to this point a little bit later. In volume 8 of Testimonies for the Church, pages 118 and 119, this is the message. Sorry, I will read the paragraph before. As foretold in the 18th of Revelation. How does Revelation 18 begins? Speaking about that other angel. As foretold in the 18th of Revelation, the third angel's message is to be proclaimed with great power by those who give the final warning against the beast and his image. I saw another angel come down from heaven, having great power, and the earth was lightened with his glory. Here, the Spirit of Prophecy quotes verses 1 to 6 of Revelation 18. And then it continues. This is the message given by God to be sounded forth in the loud cry of the third angel. When we speak about loud cry or great voice or loud voice are synonymous words. Further down in the next paragraph I read, it is a solemn and terrible truth that many who have been zealous in proclaiming the third angel's message are now becoming listless and indifferent. The line of demarcation between worldlings and many professed Christians is almost indistinguishable. Many who once were earnest Adventists are conforming to the world, to its practices, its customs, its selfishness. Instead of leading the world to render obedience to God's law, the church is uniting more and more closely with the world in transgression. Daily, the church is becoming converted to the world. How many professing Christians are slaves of mammon? Their indulge of appetite, their extravagant expenditure of money for selfish gratification greatly dishonors God. As the Spirit of prophecy describes the condition of the church, of those who should proclaim the third angel's message in a loud voice, makes it clear that there was needing the third angel's message to be enforced. And this angel, Revelation 18, verse 1, represents a movement. Great Controversy, page 605. And it says, this is the movement represented by the angel coming down from heaven. Actually, is on page 608, Great Controversy. So the need of the church was that the message should now be proclaimed in a loud voice. Review and Herald, August 18, 1885. It says, the third angel's message must go over the land and awake the people and call their attention to the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. Another angel unites his voice with the third angel, and the earth is lightened with its glory. The light increases, and it shines out to all the nations of the earth. It is to go forth as a light that burneth. It will be attended with great power until its golden beams have fallen upon every tongue, every people, and every nation upon the face of the whole earth. Let me ask you, what are you doing to prepare for this work? Are you building for eternity? And notice now this next phrase. You must remember that this angel represents the people that have this message to give to the world. Are you among that people? Do you really believe that this work in which we are engaged is truly the third angel's message? If so, then you understand that we have a mighty work to do and that we ought to be about it. Very important question. Are you among that people represented by that other angel? If not, better try to be among them. But when will this angel come? Or did he come already? Review and Herald, November 22, 1892. This was written 4 years after the Minneapolis Conference. The time of test is just upon us, for the loud cry, remember, loud cry, great voice, loud voice are synonymous words. The loud cry of the third angel has already begun in the revelation of the righteousness of Christ, the sin-pardoning Redeemer. So in 1888, when the message, Christ our righteousness, was brought to the church, was the beginning of the loud cry. And this is what is written here. This is the beginning of the light of the angel, whose glory shall fill the whole earth. So the message, Christ our righteousness, is the light. And when it was presented in 1888, was the beginning of the light of that angel. It came already, but it was not accepted. Many people many Adventist people have a wrong concept about that other angel. I have examined about 8 different theories that they have about that other angel. Some say that other angel is the latter rain. Others say, well, the other angel will come in the future, it didn't come yet. Others say, oh, that other angel is the publishing work. And this is what is mainly taught by this tract. That other angel are the publishing work. However, that other angel represents a movement and represent a people, as we have read. Why the angel has to do, what the angel has to do when he comes. He has 2 main work. One is to present the message to Laodicea. The first work of the angel is to prepare the message to Laodicea, to prepare a people to give the message in a loud voice. One day, we were talking to a minister, Seventh-day Adventist minister, and said the Reform movement cannot be that other angel because it does not fulfill the condition mentioned. The earth must be lightened with His glory. Well, we looked through the window, and there was a palm tree of about 3 meters high. And I asked him, what tree is that? He said, that's a palm tree. I said, no, cannot be, I said. Why? It is a palm tree. He said, but the palm tree is 20 meters high. Oh, but they will grow. I said, well, this is the work of that other angel. It will increase until we'll reach the top. And then, in the end, the angel will proclaim what we read here in verse 2. Revelation 18, verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, is fallen. That other angel repeats the second angel's message, but this time mightily and with a great voice. Because the spirit of prophecy says, I am not going to read, but it's written in great controversy that the fall of Babylon in 1844 was not complete. There were more corruptions coming into the churches until this angel will perform the final work, will proclaim the full fall of Babylon, and proclaim it with not only with a loud voice, but mightily with a loud voice. Now this is one voice of the angel. What does the angel say? Babylon the great is falling. And you know, the work of God will advance under the direction of that other angel. Let me read it to you. This is the Paulson collection. It's also mentioned in Testaments to Ministers, page 300. But in Testaments to Ministers 300, it doesn't point out the name of this place. But here in Paul's collection points out the name of the place. It says, let me tell you that the Lord will work in this last work in a manner very much out of the common order of things, and in a way that will be contrary to any human planning. Now notice this. There will be those among us who will always want to control the work of God, to dictate even what movements shall be made, when the work goes forward under the direction of the angel who joins the third angel in the message to be given to the world. Did you notice that the work of God will advance under the direction of that other angel? Now, the other angel joined the third. But what happened to the people who represent the angel? When the first angel was proclaimed, came the second, joined the first angel, but what happened among the people? There was a separation. 50,000 left the churches, or they were disfellowshipped from the churches in 1844 in the summer. When the third angel came, joined the two, the first and second. And what happened to the people, those 50,000? Less than a dozen accepted the third angel's message in the beginning. But through the few remnant, the angels joined. And the angels are working together, are united. Volume 5, 383 says, the message loses none of its force in the angel's onward flight, for John sees it increasing in strength and power until the whole earth is lightened with its glory. Now, the angels fly forward. The church that should represent the third angel retreating to Egypt. So they go into different directions. The angels go this way, and the church goes that way. That church represents which angel? None. Who represents all four? Those who are united with them. And then, after the earth is lightened with the glory of God, in verse 4 of Revelation 18, we read, and I heard another voice from heaven saying, come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues. I want to read a statement from Spirit of Prophecy. Because here there are many who misunderstanding the word another voice. Many people think that that other voice is another angel. No, it is not another angel. Who gives the message, come out of her, my people? This is another voice. The first voice is, Babylon the great is fallen. That other voice says, come out of her, my people. Who gives that message? Let me read to you. In Selected Messages, Book 3, page 406 and 407. This false Sabbath is to be enforced by an oppressive law. Satan and his angels are wide awake and intensely active, working with energy and perseverance through human instrumentalities to bring about his purpose of obliterating the knowledge of God. While Satan is working with his lying wonders, the time has come that was foretold in the Revelation, when the mighty angel that shall lighten the earth with his glory will proclaim the fall of Babylon and call upon God's people to forsake her. Who is going to call God's people to forsake Babylon? That other angel, according to this statement. The earth will be enlightened with the glory of God. And what is that glory? The Bible says, and I will read Numbers chapter 14, verse 21. Numbers 14, 21. But as truly as I live, all the earth shall be filled with the glory of the Lord. And Habakkuk chapter 2 verse 14. For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea. This is a prophecy that will be fulfilled. And what is this glory? Many people think that to have members in every city of the world, that is enlightening the world. Others believe that having institutions everywhere will enlighten the whole earth. You know, in 1888, the earth will be enlightened with the glory of God if the message Christ our righteousness would be accepted. And there were no so many members. There were countries and countries where the message was not yet there. And there were no many institutions either. So what is that glory that shall fill the whole earth? Let me read. Christ Object Lessons 418. The whole earth, wrapped as it is in darkness of sin and sorrow and pain, is to be lighted with the knowledge of God's love. On page 419, Christ has made every provision that his church shall be a transformed body, illumined with the light of the world, possessing the glory of Emmanuel. In his purpose, that every Christian shall be surrounded with a spiritual atmosphere of light and peace, he desires that we shall reveal his own joy in our lives. Page 420. The beauty and fragrance of the character of Christ revealed in the life testifies that God has indeed sent his Son into the world to be its Savior. The glory that shall fill the whole earth began in 1888. Christ our righteousness. And that Christ our righteousness is his righteous character that will be revealed in the lives of God's people, of those who represent that other angel. And when the whole world will see Christ in you and me, that will be a light. You know, it's not, God does not depend on quantity, but on quality. Patriarchs and Prophets, page 550. Success does not depend upon numbers. God can deliver by few as well as by many. He is honored not so much by the great numbers as by the character of those who serve him. Great numbers are not the light that will illumine the world. But even if there will be only few, if the character of Christ is reproduced in them to the world, that is the light. And that is which will lighten the whole earth with the glory of God. In Testament to Ministers, page 277. In perfect and complete unity there is strength, not in numbers, but in the perfect trust and unity with Christ. One can chase 1,000, and two put 10,000 to flight. Volume 6, 143. Let's see what shows boasting of great numbers. Volume 6, 143. To lower the standard in order to secure popularity and increase of numbers, and then make this increase a cause of rejoicing, shows great blindness. If numbers were an evidence of success, Satan might claim the preeminence, for in this world, his followers are largely in the majority. Numbers are not so important as the quality, as the character of those who represent that other angel. I will read the last statement in Great Controversy 611, 612. The message will be carried not so much by arguments as by the deep conviction of the Spirit of God. The argument have been presented, the seed have been sown, and now it will spring up and bear fruit. The publication distributed by missionaries, workers, have exerted their influence. Yet many whose minds were impressed have been prevented from fully comprehending the truth or from yielding obedience. Now, the rays of light penetrate everywhere. The truth is seen in its clearness, and the honest children of God sever the bands which have held them. Family connections, church relations are powerless to stay them now. Truth is more precious than all besides. Notwithstanding the agencies combined against the truth, a large number take their stand upon the Lord's side. Many will leave Babylon when they hear the call, "Come out of her, my people." Brethren, this subject has some more to it. But I pray that the Lord may bless the words presented and the statement read. And I suggest you to acquire this booklet and study it. Don't read it, study it. Compare with all other statements from the Spirit of Prophecy. I have prepared about 22 points here about that other angel. But I have no time to present to you. But it is clear that the work of God will be finished by that other angel, because that other angel will lighten the whole earth with the glory of God. And those who do not join that angel, those who do not join that people that represent that angel, represent no angel at all. May God bless us. Help us to understand the importance of the message, Christ, our righteousness, which is the character of Jesus. May it be reproduced to the world from each one of us. My wish and prayer. Amen.